Welcome to Shade and the City. I'm your girl Treese, of course. And we are here to get into episode 17 and 18 of Beyond the Gates. Please forgive me for my tardiness. I was supposed to get you episode 17 earlier today before episode 18 came out. And then I just started feeling crazy. And I've been out of it and in the bed um, for a little while now. And I said, well, let me get myself together and get up here and give this to y'all. So yeah, so I appreciate you being here. For anybody that has not seen episode, or I should say Wednesday's episode yet, I will put breaks in the video, um, so that I don't spoil it for you. And obviously, I hope you come back and watch the replay. Um, Once you've watched it, of course. So yeah, y'all, I appreciate you. If you haven't already, please make sure that you hit that like button. And you guys subscribe as well. And like I said, bear with me because I am not feeling my best. But yeah, y'all, let's get into it and let's get shady. Okay, guys. So we start off episode 17. We see Vernon, Anita, and Kat. And Nicole, they're all sitting around at the country club having breakfast, reminiscing on the gala. They're looking over the photos that Andre has shared. And Kat talks about how sorry she is that she missed the event, obviously. Then she noticed that Eva in the photo is wearing one of her dresses. Nicole, of course, jumps up to defend Eva. And Kat lets her know that she didn't give her permission. Okay. I don't care what you said. That's my clothes. And no. So the grandparents want to avoid the drama. So Kat excuses herself and Tomas. Oh no, and so Nicole mentions that she had a date the other night. Kat lets them know that it was Tomas and he works for Bill. So they say they're gonna give the man a fair chance and they ain't gonna hold it against him, but they are, Vernon was looking at him with the eye. And so then apparently they start to play a song that's, relative to Vernon and Anita. And we learned that, they met during a march. And then obviously he followed her to Chicago, right? Beautiful love story. So then we see Eva. She's on the phone telling someone that she understands and says she'll contact somebody and take care of everything. Now, I don't know where this picks up later on or who she was talking to. Totally missed that. I'm going to assume maybe it was Leslie, but I have no clue. So Chelsea comes over to see Danny. And she's like, well, why are you not at the breakfast? And so Danny says that she was able to get her a loan gown from the Smithsonian for this photo shoot, and Ebony magazine is going to be covering it. Danny feels like this is her time. And basically, my notes say she's living vicariously through Chelsea because she didn't get to live out her dreams. Chelsea heads off to the country club, and Danny asks her, like, oh, I thought, it was something that you wanted to talk to me about. And Chelsea basically tells her that her excitement about the show made her forget what she wanted to say. Because obviously she doesn't want to break her mother's heart right now because she knows her mother's still struggling, even though she says she's not. And we know she's struggling, okay? So then we see Jacob and Malone. They're out staking out somebody, and he's commenting on how boring this is. And Malone said that, they should just be concerned about making it home. So and then Malone is like, look, let me tell you real talk, son. I'm about to hit retirement. And that's all I'm looking forward to. I want to go and be with my boat, Sheila. And that's what I want to do. That's what I'm looking forward to. So he tells Jacob his wife must be a real wild child because he's a pain in the neck Boy Scout. And I said, if there's one thing Malone got right, it's that. So Malone is sharing a story about his old partner, and he said he got rolled up in a robbery in progress, and he didn't want to wait for the tactical team. And Malone says that he got in trouble for trying to save his last partner, and lets Jacob know that he's always going to protect his job and his behind first. All right. So they finally notice some movement from the suspect that they're tailing, and we notice that it's Joey Armstrong. They're curious about why he's in that area. They see him making a deal with some guy on the street. Um, and they're wondering why would he supposed to be a head honcho big guy, why would he be out there picking up payments himself? So Jacob's green behind is what my notes say, wants to hop out the car and address it, and Malone has to tell him, just sit back, and watch. We don't have nothing. What you trying to jump out the car for? Okay, just chill out. You giving real eager. Okay. So then Naomi meets up with a group of lawyers at what is it, Off Jeans. And apparently all these attorneys used to work for her dad. Okay. So they tell her they want her to talk about they want to talk to her about an issue that they're having with her father and his firm. And the issue really isn't Bill, but Mike, his homeboy Mike, and his inappropriate behind. The ladies all share their grievances with Naomi about how Mike has made them feel uncomfortable. They said it got so bad that they all ended up finding about it as they were crying in the restroom. And I said, well, that's never good. And so then one of the ladies shares a story about how she rejected a date with Mike and then got passed up for a promotion. And Haley ended up getting promoted. So, hey, they said it's all in who you know, right? Well, we see Bill has decided to take it easy after ending the honeymoon early. Tomas and Mike are over there talking to him. Tomas comments on how beautiful the house is and how he loves the security. Mike asks if him having the security that he does has anything to do with Danny living in the same neighborhood. And he says, basically, yeah, the Dupree women can be a lot. Then he asked Tomas, how did your date go with Kat? Because, I didn't put in, I gave you my blessing. And so Mike wants to know how well he performed. And Bill's like, hold on. That's a little off limits. At the end of the day, Danny might be my ex, but that's still my niece. I've known her. She was a little girl. And that's kind of creepy what you're doing. And I absolutely agree. Basically, Bill just tells Tomas that Kat is a good kid and don't make him regret giving his blessing. All right. So Haley walks in and she greets all the men. She lets Tomas know that she plans to keep her job. So Bill apologizes for not being able to do breakfast in bed with her. But he reassures her that she knows, and she reassures him that, look, I know who my man is. I know you busy. I know you're a top law attorney. So at the end of the day, I know I'm not going to be able to do everything. And so, and and so then once she leaves, Mike is commenting on how fine Haley is. And Bill's like, all right, bro, now you're taking it too far. You do realize that that's my new wife, right? Watch yourself. Okay. So then we see Haley go over to the country club, which we know all the Duprees are there as well. She looks all sad and lonely in the corner because one, she's by herself, and two, she hears the Duprees joyfully laughing over their meal. Tomas comes in to meet up with Kat, and her grandparents and the mother are making it clear that they're watching. She tells Tomas that her family wanted to meet him, but she doesn't want to rush anything. I think that's smart, especially after we see kind of how Tomas is moving. Tomas, I want to call him Thomas so bad. Tomas agrees with her decision, but says that, when the time is right, he's up for the challenge. Chelsea arrives at the country club and steals Kat away. She lets her know that she wasn't able to talk to her mother about quitting because she's so happy right now and she doesn't want to burst her bubble. All right. Chelsea is scared her mother will hold it against her, and Kat tells her that she can sit and fake her way through breakfast then because she ain't got nothing else to, give her. So then we see Haley. She's still looking like a lonely pet in the window waiting to be adopted. And so she tries to get the servers' attention, and even they're ignoring her. So this is really making her hot because she's realizing, damn, it's not just the Duprees. The whole community don't really mess with me. If Bill is not here to cape for me, they won't even acknowledge me. All right. So, that makes her angry. And then on her way out, she runs into Danny, who was like, oh, girl, I thought you just had breakfast. Why you look so hangry? And of course, that pissed her off even more. So then we see Naomi back at Off Jeans. She's talking to the attorneys and digging deeper into the harassment case with Bill, with the ladies. One of the women discussed how she went to HR about her grievances. They told her her claims would be investigated, and then she was demoted weeks later. Naomi asked if any of them have told her father because she's sure, that's her dad. So she still feels like, oh my God, it's my dad. He would never sit around if he knew this was going on. Well, girl, your daddy didn't handle it. And they said Bill is very aware of what Mike is doing, but he turns a blind eye to it. So finally they just come and tell Naomi they want her to be the one to sue her father's firm. They said they watched the conference and saw that she was standing by her mother, and it spoke volumes to them, along with her track record. And said Naomi feels as if they just kind of want to use her because she's Bill's daughter, and she offers to refer them to other attorneys. And they said they've gone to other attorneys and nobody wants to go up against Bill. And they tell her she knows him best and it would be a great opportunity to make her name for herself. And we all know Naomi wants to do it because she wants to get some get back in Bill for her mama. Okay, so back at the country club, Danny shares with the family about Chelsea's big show, and how it's, for a good cause. I believe it was for, it's like a scholarship fund. They're raising money. Chelsea doesn't really want to talk about it, and Nicole noticed that something's off with her. So Danny tells her that, she's just excited. And Anita comments on how good it is to see Danny in great spirits. Eva shows up and tells Nicole that she has forms to sign, but of course, because Eva's on top of everything, she has brought the tablet for her to sign the form so she doesn't have to leave breakfast. She's always on time, give her a little job rule. And Vernon invites her to sit down and join them for breakfast, which a cat is now sitting at a table with Vernon. But she can see it from across the room, and obviously she's not feeling this. So I'm sorry, sitting at a table with Tomas. And she sees this from across the room. So obviously she's like, oh, hell to the no. So she ends up ending her situation with Tomas, so that she can go over there and, interrupt Eva being all up in her space. Yeah. Basically, Kat comes over to the family's table and lets Eva know that, look, you're in my seat. Vernon points out that there is a whole open chair available, and they actually show the open available seat. And Nicole questions Kat on why she ran. And so, Kat's like, Eva's like, don't worry about it. I'm going to go. And so Kat, takes her seat, and, her mom is like, why did you do that? And she was like that. And so they move on to Kat and Tomas, where, Vernon apparently was giving them the eye, and, he just thanks them for the first time in a long time, them being able to have an unproblematic breakfast. And he's just happy things are getting back to normal. And we see Tomas and Eva as he's leaving the country club. Eva learns that, he's a lawyer. She's asking about him and says, if she gets into trouble, she has someone that can get her off multiple times. I said, you dirty. What? So Kat unknowingly walks around the corner and she's overhearing this conversation. Now, I don't know if she heard that you can get me off multiple times, but I know she peeped enough that she's smart. So Kat addresses Eva after Tomas leaves about her talking to him, and Eva tells her that they were only talking, and basically you shouldn't be so threatening. You should probably talk to someone about that. I said, "Oh, Eva's starting to smell herself, y'all. She's starting to smell herself." So then we see Haley return home, and she's complaining to Bill about her not getting served at the country club. She feels humiliated and questions how Danny is still able to be Queen Bee and she's invisible. Bill feels like it's up to him to fix and says that he will get her the respect she deserves. And so, Haley likes hearing this from Bill and tells him that, all she wants is peace. All right. So then we see back over at Off Regine's. Naomi is done with her meeting. She's now sitting down with her husband, Jacob, and he noticed that she looks a little worried. So basically, Naomi is like, well, I can't really tell you what's going on. And he's like, don't worry, because I already know about it. Because, police talk to lawyers all the time, and it's been a buzz that these women attorneys are trying to sue your dad's firm for this harassment. And so she's like, well, yeah, that's, kind of what's going on. And she's like, I'm surprised my daddy ain't heard nothing yet. So she's like, this is a chance of a lifetime, but she worries people are going to assume that she's being petty and trying to get her dad back, which, two things can be true at the same time, right? What do they say? A clock is right at least twice a day. Okay. So Jacob asks her if she wants peace or does she want to do what she's trying to do. I said, you better motivate your girl. And then she switches topics to Malone, and Jacob talks about how he called him a Boy Scout, and he tells her about their stakeout and how Malone wouldn't let him make a move. And basically, he thinks something's up with him, which I already told y'all, I think he's a dirty cop. And he's just probably trying to get out and retire so he can get his pension without getting caught up. That's what it gives me. Then we see Kat. Kat sees Eva return to the country club and wants to know why she's there again. Why are you not at work? So Eva lets her know that she had came back to pick up her mother's glasses, and then she's like, "But why are you not at work? Why are you still here?" So this obviously pisses Kat off, and she's like, first of all, what you're not gonna do is be worried about what I'm doing. And then she tells Eva that it's just weird how you just manipulate situations and things to work out in your favor. And she brings up how she saw Eva wore her dress, and Kat lets her know taking something that's hers makes her a thief. So, and she's like, and you want my life and everything in it, okay? And says, this is out of your league, sweetheart, out of the park, okay? And so is Tomas. Boom. All right. And Eva don't know what to say because but I will say Eva's starting to be like, Kat, I ain't taking your okay. And we starting to see some, if it's true, some sibling rivalry, right? So Danny returns home at I forgot who said it, and I hate to say it. What is it? Steffi and from Bold and the Beautiful. It's definitely giving Steffi and her and the sister hope. It's definitely giving Steffi and hope right now. So Danny returns home to start day drinking, which I think is starting to be a pattern at this point. And she's taking a bottle of vodka to the head. And then we see Anita and Vernon. They cut back to the country club. They're discussing how well she looked and how they think she's doing so much better. They're hoping that Tomas can be a distraction for Kat so she can stay off Eva's ass. Okay. And then Vernon suggests that, him and Anita take it home so they can remember how blessed they are. Okay. I said, look at y'all still. I'm going in. I'm going in. All right. And then yeah, we see Danny at home on the kitchen floor crying after she done polished off a bottle of vodka. And she just lays in the floor and passes out. So yeah, that was episode 17 of Beyond the Gates. And yeah, let's get ready for episode 18. All right, y'all. So episode 18, Andre comes into Danny's house looking for her, and he finds her passed out on the floor. He tries to get Danny together and lets her know that, you could have really hurt yourself. You could have hit your head, and she doesn't want to hear his lecture and tells him she knows her limit now. All right. She swears Andre to secrecy. Basically, don't tell anybody about you finding me this way. Andre tries to leave, but she tells him that she doesn't want him to go. And so Danny is, and one thing that I noticed about this particular scene is she insinuates that like when she feels like she needs a man, she might necessarily want a boyfriend or a husband again, but when she feels like she needs a man, she calls Andre. So, yeah, basically Andre tells her that he wants her to take care of herself and get some rest. I'm not gonna do it to you tonight. That's what it was given. And then he promises to stay and watch her as he sleeps, which we know is not gonna happen because he's too busy with his mind on other things. Anyway, so Nicole and Ted admire the photo, but did y'all notice episode 17? We really didn't get heavy Ashley. They made up for it this episode, okay? So Nicole and Ted admire the photos that Andre took at the gala. They cut over to Eva, who's having dinner with Leslie. Leslie lets her know it's too much of a risk for them to go out now and possibly be seen together. So Eva tries to reaffirm that if she's still going, are you still going after Ted? And so Leslie says, of course I am. Of course. And so especially after Ted tried to act like they didn't exist. So Eva tries to switch topics and Leslie blames Ted for getting her kicked out of the gala. Eva obviously knows differently because we know it was her. So Leslie wants to discuss their plans for Eva. And now that she's in their house, you know what I mean? And obviously closer. Eva changes the subject and brings up her run-in with Kat. She tells her that she flirted with Tomas and how it pissed Kat off. Leslie asks about Tomas, and when she tells him that he's a lawyer, Leslie said that he sounds like a creeper and tells her to keep her distance, which bothers Eva a little bit. And Leslie tells her she doesn't have to be rude, but basically don't take it any further. like, basically, you don't need to be antagonizing Kat because she's a spoiled brat and that can get you fired. Okay. So Leslie tells her she needs to plan an event for Ted, even though there's nothing on his calendar. And so Leslie lets her know that Ted and Nicole have a wedding anniversary coming up, and she thinks that this will be a perfect time to burst his bubble. Now, why she just got this sitting in her phone for decades is beyond me, but okay. She wants Eva to suggest the party, and Eva feels like, well, this will be a little weird. I'm just the assistant. Why am I suggesting that they hold a personal event? And so Leslie said that you should go to Kat and Martin and have them suggest it. And so Eva isn't really interested, and Leslie kind of gets upset with her and was like, "It's a good idea. It's my idea. I have several good ideas. Why aren't you listening to me?" And so Eva tries to convince her that she just I just don't want to disappoint you. And she's like, "Oh, you can never disappoint me. I know you could do it, but you gotta stop being a coward first." And I said, "Well, damn." Okay, talk about motivational speech. So Haley says her and Bill are done. All right, we back at Bill and Haley's house, and Bill questions where all this is coming from. And he tries to convince her that look, the worst is over. Haley says it might be for you, but I know the community will never respect me. Haley goes on about how when she fell for Bill, she was starry-eyed and really didn't think things through realistically. She tells him that maybe their marriage, their house was a mistake, and suggests that maybe they weren't meant to be together. Bill tries to remind her that she's the same strong woman who went over and stood up to Danny. Okay. And so she basically tells him that she wants a life without the Duprees. She's still convinced that Bill is enjoying this back and forth with Danny just as much as she is. And Haley tells him she wants the life that he promised her. And if he can't, she got some decisions to make. And I said, that's one thing I am going to say about Haley. She know Bill is crazy about her and will clearly make mountains move to make sure she stay happy. And she's, still busting it open and spreading it wide. Okay. So then we see Derek. He calls Ashley at work to let her know that he's at home making a lasagna. Okay. She keeps having flashbacks of Andre trying to kiss her. Ashley returns home where Derek has dinner waiting. He gets a call from the fire station, even though he's supposed to be on medical leave, and he decides he's going to go anyway because it's an all hands on deck type situation. So Ashley stares at the collage that Andre made for her after Derek leaves. And then apparently her mother came over. So she wants to vent about Derek. And again, I never know Ashley's mama's name. And her mom notices the collage from Andre. And she's like, "Where has he been? I met all your other friends, but I ain't met him." And so, and she's like, "Oh, do you want the collage?" And, because I just don't want it. I don't want Derek to be bothered by it. So the mom is like, "Well, what's going on?" And so she shares with her mother that they were just friendly until he tried to kiss her the other day. And her mother tells her, well, that shouldn't be an issue with y'all remaining friends as long as he, respects your boundaries. And Ashley's just worried about things being weird moving forward, but then admits that if Andre wasn't in her life, she'd miss him. And I was like, okay. And so then as her mother's helping her clean up the house and clean up after dinner, we see that she's staring at this collage that Andre gave her. And yeah. So Andre returns to Nicole's office. She apologizes for giving her unsolicited advice the other day about Ashley. And he tells her that, she doesn't need to worry about him and Ashley because Ashley absolutely has no interest in him and has made that clear. We realize that Andre isn't used to being rejected. When he's having this conversation with Nicole, he lets her know that he's there to talk about a different subject and brings up Danny. Andre lets her know he ran into Danny and she seemed a little bit down. Nicole seemed surprised by that because she was like, "I just saw Danny at the country club and she looked fine." And so Andre doesn't wanted to get back to Danny, but he lets her know that, I understand or I can relate to what it feels like to be lonely after a crisis and everybody thinks you're okay. And when you're by yourself, you're really not. And so Nicole says that never occurred to her. And I was like, when she said that, I was like, are you not a whole therapist? You out here getting awards for your service and that didn't occur to you? You down here chasing crazy lady Leslie or Sherry on the roof and that didn't occur to you? Okay, girl. He tells her that Danny could use her support right now. And so then we cut later after Andre has left. Nicole is talking to Ted about their upcoming anniversary. She's thinking like travel, St. Bart's or something like that. And he jokes and suggests that they go to every baseball stadium, in the US in one day, which Nicole thinks is absolutely crazy and not a fun idea. So then Eva walks in on this conversation and she claims that, she's still there because she was bringing back Kat's dress that she had just picked up from the dry cleaner. And so, Nicole lets her in on the conversation that her and Ted were having. And this is, of course, when Eva takes her opportunity to suggest that maybe they allow her to plan their anniversary party. And so, of course, Ted is all open to the idea, which eventually Nicole agrees as well. Then we see Bill. He surprises Haley with having dinner delivered to their home. He thanks her for being honest with him, and he admits he nothing has gone as he would have hoped or planned. Okay. He plays some music from a live concert that they went to in Rome, and Haley is just very thankful. And, Bill tells her spending time with him is the best part of his life. And she admits that at times it doesn't feel that way. So Haley tells Bill how nice dinner was, but says they still haven't discussed their problems. Bill doesn't think they have any underlying issues. And I was like, this is what it goes to show you. Bill think he can throw some money at you and you're supposed to forget everything. So then but he clearly he gifts her with some diamond rings and it made her forget everything. Because then, now they all lovey dovey and whatever he had to say goes out the window, or whatever she was concerned about goes out the window. So maybe there really wasn't any issues. So then we see Danny wake up and she realizes Andre has left her by herself, and she keeps on looking over at the bottle on the counter, and she decides to pour the remaining little drop out versus drink it. So kudos to her. And then obviously we see that this is probably going to develop into a storyline of Danny having a drinking problem. And then Eva comes home and Leslie is all over her when she walks through the door. And she shares with her that they've decided to have the anniversary party, which Leslie's elated about because she can't wait to drop the bomb on him, baby. So yeah, y'all, that was pretty much 17-18 of Beyond the Gates. If you guys have not already, please, please, please make sure you hit that like button for me. Make sure that you guys comment and make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell as well. And make sure you're following us on all the platforms. That's the Blue Sky, the IG, the TikTok, and the Facebook. And yeah, I will catch y'all tomorrow. Hopefully be on time and hopefully in a better space. Yeah, tomorrow. But thank you guys. Have a good night. Bye bye.